guys, Miranda here from Single Girl Eats, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to show you one ingredient that you can use for multiple dishes all week. The main cooking instrument I'm going to use today on display is my trusty Crockpot. So to start, of course, the star of the show is 4 skinless, boneless chicken breasts. This I actually froze beforehand and had to thaw for a day. But outside of that, you can use fresh if you like. And really here, just put the chicken breasts in the slow cooker first. And now that we have that down, I have 4 main ingredients that I pair the chicken with to help it stay moist and flavorful while it cooks. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of chicken broth. And with your broth, I like to use unsalted just to kind of keep that sodium content down. And as for the herbs and spices, I use a 1/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And for a punch of flavor, I use 3/4 of a teaspoon of my favorite seasoning blend. I personally like chipotle and garlic seasoning from McCormick. You want to close up? I know you do. And there you have it, all the ingredients together. And all that there's left to do is put on the lid, set your temperature. I've got it set on high, so it only takes 3 hours. However, if you're making this dish before you head into work, you can put it on low and it'll cook for 6 to 7 hours. All right, that's all I have for you for now. Until later. Alright guys, so the Crockpot did its job and now we're ready to shred the chicken. I've got a little grilling fork and just a regular fork. I'm gonna fish them out. Alright, this part is pretty simple. The chicken should be tender enough to shred. So once I have it all shredded like this, I then portion it out for today's meal and for the rest of the meals I'm gonna make for the week. So just a quick mention here, I'm going to portion out the chicken to use for the rest of the week, but you don't have to do that. You can portion out your chicken for fridge and for freezer. For the fridge, it should last you about 4 to 5 days, and then for the freezer, it should last you 3 to 4 months. So you don't have to have all of your chicken in 1 week, but just for this video purpose, I'm going to go ahead and show you the different types of recipes that I use. Alright, so my first meal of the week is a traditional salad. I just picked up a salad mix at the grocery store, cut up an avocado, cut up some mushrooms, and threw some broccoli in there. So really all I'm going to do is top it with some shredded chicken, a little bit of my favorite cheese, and I like to finish it off with a little bit of French dressing. And once again, folks, another fabulous meal for one. All right, so the second meal of the week is going to be a shredded chicken, vegetable, bacon wrap. So we're gonna take our leftover shredded chicken and spread it over the cooked bacon and spinach wrap. So guys, I wanted to pause for a second and show you how I like to make my bacon. I like to use what's called a broiler pan, which means that there's a top part that's slotted to let the grease run through, and then there's a bottom pan to catch it. And as probably most of you don't like to do is a huge cleanup, so I like to use aluminum foil. Put that on top. And now we're ready for the bacon. And there's no reason to put any type of additional grease or cooking oil on top of the broiler pan. It's going to stick a little bit, but you're not going to want to add any more grease than is already on the bacon. And for the rest, I just put it in a Ziploc bag. Ooh. And we just have to put it in. And so I put the oven on for 420 degrees for 20 minutes. I take a look at it at the 15-minute mark just to see how well it's stewing. You can mess with the time if you like. This is also my favorite way to make bacon because it's a lot less messy. The grease doesn't stick to the bacon. It drips down to that second pan. So even though it's not ever gonna be the most healthy of ingredients, it still makes me feel better. Go ahead and put on my mismatched oven mitts. Woo. And there you have it, folks. Crispy, oven-baked bacon. I've chopped up some onions, carrots, baby tomatoes, and black olives. And be careful not to overfill it. I overfill mine all of the time, so I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I'm gonna add a little bit of shredded cheese. And I like to punch it with a little bit of herbs and spices, so I found the Perfect Pinch from McCormick. It's a Salad Supreme seasoning. So add just a little bit on top. So for the grand finale, I use a little bit of honey mustard dressing on top. I'll give you guys a little close up before I wrap it up. How delicious is that? And that's only meal number 2. All right, so I'm gonna fold it. Don't judge me on my folding. So, as predicted, I stuffed it a little too much, but it's still the king of all wraps. All right, guys, so this will be my 3rd and final dish for the week using shredded chicken. It's going to be my wholesome shredded chicken soup. So, you just get a stock pot or a Dutch oven, whichever you have, and you start with a little bit of avocado oil or olive oil. And this is where my freezer vegetables come into play. And if you need a reminder on the best way to freeze and preserve your vegetables, the clip is above. So the main vegetables I'm going to use for this dish are the frozen carrots and celery I had from the vegetable video before. They're about a cup and a half worth of vegetables. I'm going to add some more vegetables in later to kind of give it a boost of flavor. And this part actually takes about 8 minutes or so to cook down and make sure that of course, it's unthawed and it's cooked thoroughly. All right, now that we have these cooked down, I'm going to go ahead and add the onion. My recipe calls for about half of an onion chopped. So after we add the onion, we're going to add 3 teaspoons of minced garlic. And this is my homemade minced garlic that is preserved in vegetable oil. So let this marinate for about 30 seconds to a minute, not very long. All right, now we're ready to add the rest of our ingredients. And this recipe takes the whole container of chicken broth, which is 32 ounces or roughly 4 cups. Then I'm gonna add diced tomatoes and green chilies, just 1 can. So next I add in a can of black beans that I've rinsed in the mesh strainer. Next I add my shredded chicken, what's left of it. And lastly I add in my herbs and spices. So the first one I add is a ½ teaspoon of curry. Next, I add my teaspoon of cumin. I then add in my teaspoon of black pepper, and I have a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt. And really, that's all there is that goes into it. We're gonna return it to a boil, and once it hits the boiling temperature, we're gonna lower it down to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. And last but not least, I like to add in a ½ cup of cilantro. Rough chopped with both leaves and stems. And there you have it, folks, my wholesome shredded chicken soup. Now you can go even further than this and you can add a little bit of garnish. I like to add a little bit more cilantro. A little scoop of sour cream. Look how gorgeous. All right, well, there we have it. This wraps up the shredded chicken week. 3 meals, 1 ingredient. This is definitely one of my favorite recipes. So now it's time to dig in. So excited. Oh, that's delicious. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure to show you some more of my recipes, and please look forward to more. And now you know what to do. Go feed yourself.